so happy to have you. My name is Dov.
Sherry. I'm Nicole.
And we are Twin Flame Revolution. We are two twin flames that are in a relationship, and that we do conscious mentoring, energy healing, motivational speaking. We consciously activate you with our energy and all the stuff we've done. And so if you guys are new, welcome.
Welcome.
So excited.
Danny, Jennifer, we love you guys.
This is our Sunday sermon. This is unique. This is what we do on Sundays. This is for everyone and anyone. This is to create that activation. This is to create that sacred space every Sunday, having somewhere to do it, having somewhere to worship, right? Worship to us just means taking time, creating ceremony, creating something that is powerful. And so we are doing that with you guys, and we are honored that you guys are here. So if what we are talking about ends up resonating with you guys, excuse my voice, please make sure that you share it with people that you feel are going to be powerfully impacted by it. You can tag them. You can share this video. We ask you to do that. Get the message out there. We show up for you guys 100% of the time. And so, if we are helping, let it be known to other people that, you think it will help as well. So we are so excited. Without further ado, what are we talking about this morning? We are talking about separation, the programming of separation, the idea of separation, and how it is really related to the concept of original sin, and how it really is the origination, the first idea that is the breakdown,
yes.
The first idea that all ideas come from, that created more breakdown,
yes.
That started separating us from our power, our divinity, and the most powerful thing for Nicole and I we talk about is unconditional love. Unconditional love, this energy of being able to come back to self, come back to source, God, creator, the universe, whatever you are comfortable with. And these ideas of separation are what is deeply blocking us from that and keeping us in all sorts of other energies. So we are very excited to talk about this with you guys today.
I'm so excited. I see all of your faces. All the pictures are up there. You guys are coming in, all the messages. I'm feeling your energy. You're excited because you know something's happening in the collective consciousness. You guys are shifting. You guys are filling your beings with love. You guys are rocking out in mission. You guys are going through the fire right now, and you're doing it well. I've had emails of you guys, all these breakthroughs, so I want to honor you.
Hi, Nora.
I want to honor you. I send you all this love that comes from Creator. So, separation, right? What started it all? What started sin? What started this original aspect? What created all of these things like doubt, right? When we are connected, like if I were just to leave my body, when I connect to my higher self and I'm connected to Source, God, Mother God, Father God, Holy Spirit, when I'm connected to you, I have no fear. I am in love, perfect love energy that creates all things. I don't doubt. I get moments where I go in that space and I feel that safety, and I feel that I'm okay, and I feel my purpose, and I feel those things, right? And then, right, let's go way back. We ate the lie. We ate a lie. The lie was that we were separate from God, and that we were separate from each other. And what that space did was brought in a hell of a lot of fear, right? Like when you're a child, right, and you're born, you have no idea about disconnect. You're connected to all things. Your breath is different. Your breath is like this. Babies breathe so deeply, they're so connected. And then what happens after a certain amount of time? They learn about what's right and wrong. They hear their parents' fear. Oh my God, I'm fearful of not having enough money. Oh my God, I'm jealous of so-and-so. Oh my God, my husband cheated on me. And all of a sudden the breakdown starts to happen and we start to disconnect. Oh my God, like that, they're gay. That's scary, right? I remember when I came out, a lot of people were scared of me, right? Oh my God, different religion. Woo, I can't go there because I am this and that is that, and all this separation is happening. And it's a breakdown. And there's fear. And there's lack. And there's debt. And there's control. And there's psychosis, right? We get neurotic. We think people are out to get us. And we feel unsafe. And we feel abandoned. And we don't feel loved. And we feel like things are not going to be okay. I have been there many times where things were not okay. I have moments where I forget and I disconnect. And I don't do the things that I normally do that make me connected, like praying and being with my wife and looking deep into her eyes and being with you and being fully present and making sure that I go outside and I treat the plants and the animals as if they were me and I treat them with love, and all of those things I forget and I go right into fear. And from that place, perversion starts. And I'm not talking about perversion in the sense of like a pervert. I'm talking about all of these things start to pervert our sight. It perverts our experience. We begin to go into places where we start to get sick. Our bodies get sick.
Yes.
Because we think we're different. Right? How many times did I say when I was gay, oh my God, I would go to church and then they would preach about being gay and going to hell, and all of a sudden I disconnect from God, and God hates me, and these people hate me, and I'll never be like everyone else, and I just want to be normal. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. If you know what I'm talking about right now, say aho, amen, hallelujah, I love you, whatever comes to you, but you know what I'm talking about. And all of a sudden now you're different. Listen, I want to say one thing. You guys are all unique.
Yes.
You guys are unique as heck, and thank God for that, because there is this blanket of connectedness of all your beautiful little beings, and without your uniqueness, this shit wouldn't be so awesome, right? So you're unique, but we are all the same. No matter what your beliefs are, no matter how you were brought up, no matter what country or state you were born in, we are made of the same fabric essence of love. And your unique little essence is needed here, because your essence vibrates with another essence that can recognize you and remind that essence of who they are, and you remember who you are, and we come back to being connected.
Oh, yes. Amen. Oh, good morning, guys.
I love spirit.
So we've been thinking about this topic a lot lately, because this idea, this feeling, right? We've seen it in history. We've seen it in all these different places, but then also looking at it as how it relates to you, how it relates to your backyard, right? We think, oh, yes, in history, sure, this, that, but how does it relate to you, this idea of separateness, that you feel separate, this idea that you feel alone because of that separateness, right? Because you feel unloved because you are disconnecting, right, from yourself, from all things, from source, right? So when we're in this energy of separateness, we forget our place, we forget our power, we forget how, when Nicole was talking about how you are all unique, yet all connected to this fabric of unconditional love, I look at it as all of you being these powerful creators, a facet, an expression, a different angle, a different image of source, right? And so you have that power within you. So you also understand this, excuse me, you also understand this oneness, right? There is this deep oneness that we are all feeling each other, that we are all connected. And so when we feel, how do we get out of these big issues? How do we surmount all of these things that are happening, the way that we treat our planet, the way that we treat each other, the way that we act amongst different religions, and the way that we act amongst other countries, and how do we handle this? And it comes down to this internal shift in yourself, realizing the lack of separateness, realizing the lack of separateness between you and this planet, between you and your animals, between you and your environment, right? And as that shift is happening within you, when people say to me, where do I start? What do I do? There's so much. You always start with yourself. And this plane, this earth, this experience that we have is tricky because it is a very conditional place. Yes. We have night and day, right? And we have all of these experiences that create condition, which is why when you're bringing this unconditional love and this energy of connectedness into this world, sometimes it can feel like a challenge to us. Because it is a challenge. Because it goes against the feelings that are happening with us. And there is duality within us in the world. And there is light and dark. And there is the balance of all, right? When I talked about day and night. And so it's challenging to us to remember that at the highest place and purpose and level that we are all truly connected to this infinite, right? And that there is no separation there. And it's interesting because we were speaking this morning, and for some of you guys out there who are twins, so for some of you who are not even familiar with what that means, Nicole and I share a specific soul connection, right? And so you hear about soulmates and you hear about twins, and it's a unique soul connection, and we'll talk about it more at a different time. And we share this really deep soul connection. And so when you have, I love the activation of what happens within us through partners, right?
Yes.
Whether it's a twin or just a partner. And there is so much self-reflection and reflecting back to yourself where you are standing in your life through a partner. And so I remember when Nicole and I actually separated, what it did is it highlighted, we were speaking about it this morning, it highlighted for me that deep pain, that agony, because when I was with her, I remembered how connected I was. I remembered how loved I was. It activated those feelings within me. And when we were separate, it showed me and highlighted how separate I felt from all things. Which is why I started to get angry with God.
Yes.
I started to get angry with the world. I started to get angry with my family. I wanted to lash out and blame things outside of me. I felt abandoned and forsaken by the world. I was angry. And it was that separation, that example, that 3D separation, that physical separation of our relationship made me experience that illusion of separation that I felt so deeply that it took me down to my knees in the most painful way that I had ever experienced. And I had to come back to the remembrance of I'm loved. I'm not separate. I'm not abandoned. You know, and I say this often to people, what we experience is not always what it seems. In fact, it's often not what it seems, right? And so sometimes you're going through something and it's painful, it's hard, it's breaking down, and you feel, oh my God, there's no hope. Well, why is this happening to me? And it's not always what it seems, because that breakdown, that separation that we had, that pain that I had, that was not designed to punish me. It was not designed because we weren't going to make it. It was designed for something totally other. And that other was that big picture that I couldn't see. And that other had to do with love. And that other was about unconditional, all connectedness. That's what I meant to say.
I'm over here like, I'm moving and grooving with her. I'm feeling the energy. I'm feeling your guys' energy. Oh my God. So what do we do next? What do we do next, right? So Dov and I, when we think about our work, we see a bridge. Bridging the gap between this disconnect, right? And how does that start? How did that start in our lives? So we separated, and then we came back together, and then what happened was we started a process individually and together on connecting with my immortal self, understanding that this body, this beautiful body, it's little, but it's beautiful, is not just it, right? There's a part of Nicole and a part of you that is eternal, that is big, that can see the view that Dov was talking about, that sometimes it looks like not what it seems. Sometimes you're just like, why the hell am I suffering? Because you came here to do that and transmute it, and you're strong enough to friggin' do it.
Yes.
I came here to be a warrior here, to guide away, to go head first into it. And in the beginning, I didn't want to accept that because Nicole was in so much pain and agony, and I was like dying. And I was like, this doesn't make any sense. This doesn't make any sense. Why am I suffering? And now I suffer a little bit, and then I bounce right back out of it because I go back to who I am. Bridging the gap between this body. So before, when I was talking about that little kid, the little kid that's connected to all things, little kid that's running free through the woods, and Dov was wild when she was younger. And it's going to be her birthday in a few days, so we can say happy birthday to Dov now. Right? Her little self was wild. She did whatever she wanted. Her mom allowed her to space to move and groove. But not all of us get to do that. Don't do that, Nicole. Don't do that. Don't say that. We don't say that. Right? Don't feel that way, yo, because you're lucky. You have a house. Don't feel that way. We get our feelings shut down. You know what happens when we feel unsafe and we're disconnect? We create ego. We start to edge God out. Ego's there now. You have this part of you that speaks to you on a daily basis. It told you it was going to protect you. This is a part of all of us. We all have ego, and I'm not talking about being egotistical. I'm talking about there's an actual part of you that's ego. And this thing tells you that you are unsafe and that it needs to keep you safe and that you're going to die. You're definitely going to die. Everyone's scared of it. You're going to die. And so you're like, you think this part of you is protecting you from death. But what it's doing is it's destroying you and killing you. Because here's the truth. There's no death. We incarnate. We leave this body. We get to incarnate again if we choose so. Right? And a lot of you are like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing here. You chose to be here. I promise you chose. You really loved the thought before you got into your body of coming back here because you knew that this time was very special. There's very beautiful things happening right now, right? Ascension we talk about, like, you know, the elevation of your consciousness. That's the new norm now, people. It's just happening really, really fast. And people are just like, can we slow down? I just want to get off the ride for 1 minute, please. And so we just have to keep upgrading and keep moving and keep accepting where we are and keep loving. So bridging the gap between you and yourself, your higher self, understanding that you are so powerful.
Yes.
That you're not this weak person. You don't need your ego actually to be there and protect you. You are always protected. Yes. You are creating your reality. You are connected. Dov was talking about this one fabric. I was talking about this one, the law of one. We are connected. Right? So bridging the gap between you and yourself and then bringing that out into the world. It starts with you. It starts with you loving you. It starts with you not condemning you. It starts with you not saying, I am different. I am not normal. Right? I am like different from those people. And here's the thing. A lot of you that are watching this right now, I know because you're watching us, that you're sensitive. You're sensitive to outside things. This world scares you. You feel a lot. That's okay. It's okay to not go into big crowds. It's okay. I say this all the time. It's okay to take time for you. But you don't have to isolate yourself. Yeah. Just the understanding that that's a time that you need for yourself.
I want to talk about uniqueness. You know, there's these aspects, though, understanding you don't feel separate when you realize that your unique expression, right? As I was saying, this unique expression of all things, source, right? So imagining as if God energy was just all these little fragments all over, and you were just these tiny little reflections and shifts and sort of manifestations of different aspects. And so there is a uniqueness. And there is something you want to experience. And there is something that feels like a difference, but it's not a separation. You can still be connected and quote unquote different or unique. And there is no judgment in that uniqueness. In fact, it's actually your superpower.
Yeah.
It's what you're here to help other people with. It's what you're here to remind us of. Because we have that difference. When Nicole and I read, where I'm reading for somebody at a soul level and I'm looking at who they are, and it's so beautiful, and I remind them, hey, these things about you that you might not think are so exciting are actually superpowers. And they need to be there. And you need to remind everybody of that. Because we all have different aspects and gifts and the way we look at things, and you're so important. And so that's why as you start to connect with yourself, you're able to hold space for other people to connect with themselves. And as this connection to yourself and source and all things God, whatever you're comfortable with, starts to happen, in that space is where all the symptom of separation starts to dissolve. Because if you are right connected with yourself, right and connected with the universe, right and connected with frozen a little bit, so hopefully we're caught back up now. I don't know what's happening.
It's like, hey.
So there isn't going to be, and it looks like there's a delay, but hopefully you guys are hearing us in okay time. There isn't going to be this need, right? There isn't going to be this need to look outside of you and feel fear, this need to look outside of you and cause separation, believe in separation, be in that energy, right? And my doggie's agreeing with me. And so I have her. And so, you know, and I want you guys to think about that. A lot of it, as Nicole was saying, that idea of separation creates a lot of fear, right? Makes us hold on to old doctrine. Makes us hold on to old belief systems and paradigms that are no longer serving us anymore. And we hold them simply out of fear, simply out of this idea of separation, right? That the other side, that the other aspect, that the other might be wrong, might not be true. And so we have that fear and we start to go into hate. And we start to go into attack. Because that preserver in us says, well, if I am this way, and I am separate from you over there, and then you must be wrong, even if I don't know anything about you, and I have to hate you because I need to preserve myself, and I need to preserve my beliefs. And then we move from our ego, and we move from these ideas about preservation, about the fact that you're dying and that you need to defend yourself in that. And it trickles down and it trickles down and it trickles down and it affects us in all different places of our life. So you start with you.
Yes.
You start with you and you go deeply and you look at those things and you understand and accept that this world is full of duality. You understand and accept that this world is conditional by nature, and you still continue the shift towards this idea of oneness and this idea of unconditional love in yourself, and you start to see no separation in yourself. So when Nicole was talking about you connecting with source and higher self, also somebody said no judgment.
Yeah.
No judgment of yourself. Starting to accept yourself, starting to understand yourself, starting to love yourself in that way, because only if we do this with ourselves can we even have the chance to start doing it in the world outside of us. And asking ourselves, how am I feeling? Why am I acting like this? And the thing is that oftentimes when people do or say things that we deem to be horrendous or awful or unacceptable, they're scared.
Yes.
And they're unaware.
Yes.
And they feel different. And they haven't checked in to even understand the other or the other side or the person that's different from them. And so they just stay in that bankrupt energy of separation, because that energy is bankrupt. When Nicole said it leads to debt and it leads to lack, it is, because there isn't abundance in it. There isn't flow in it. There isn't truth in it. So it goes to the energy of separation. And that energy of separation creates that lack and frustration.
Totally, I love that. And I just wanted to say that we all go into fear, right? We're in this body, we have this ego, we all go into fear, we all go into doubt on a daily basis, we forget, on a daily basis we forget. And that's why we talk about doing work and like getting up early in the morning and being in prayer, right? And so for many of you, if you pray, amazing. I'm not talking about getting on your knees and praying, but like sometimes I used to just take a walk and just talk to the universe. I'd always give thanks. It's real simple. I give thanks, right, for all the stuff that I have, really focusing on that because it's really important to be really grateful, right? And then from there, I ask for guidance. I love you, Sarah. And I wanted to say what up to Lily, because she got on before and I didn't get, because you were speaking. What's up, Lily? And so, you ask for guidance. I'm always asking for inspiration, for motivation, for guidance. Where can I be of service? And then the things that I know are in my heart that I want to achieve in this life. The main points that are just like, I know it's my purpose. Like I know, and even if it's really big, and you think that like maybe you're being selfish, or you think that like, oh my God, that's insane. Do it anyways. Like set that intention high. Blow your own mind. You're allowed to blow your own frigging mind. Mm-hmm. I blow my mind every day because of the grace and the mercy that we have access to. So when I was talking about being connected, well, how do I know if I'm connected? Because you will feel loved. You'll feel that moment of love from a friend. You'll be willing to receive that love. Some of us can't even receive it. We're so disconnected. We'll be like, no one loves me, and people are loving you all around you, and you don't even feel it. I remember when Dov and I started dating, and she loved me so much. I was like, you don't love me. You don't love me. And one day I was like, wow, this chick really loves me. I don't love me, and I'm not letting her love me. Yes. I'm not allowing it in. Peace and joy are your birthright. Those are two things that we don't talk enough about, and those two things are so important because a lot of us get depressed and anxious and there's no peace and there's no joy. Those two things are you. That's part of love. That's part of you. You should be able to access that at least once a day, if not more, because it's yours. So if you're completely not feeling any of that, there's just a disconnect and it's just showing you, all right, there's an issue here. There's an issue because I have access. That's mine.
Yes.
That's why right in this moment, whatever's blocking you, I'm just going to ask that we just start to set these things aside, like that they just be set aside for you. Mm. Or if there's things blocking you and you don't even know what's blocking you, that you be shown what's blocking you, because it's really important to understand the problem, because when we understand the problem, it shifts it halfway. Yes. As soon as we identify the problem. Yes. And sometimes some of you, because I do it, we brush stuff under the carpet like it wasn't a big deal. Right? That it's not a big deal that you had abuse in your life. That it wasn't that big of a deal. At least you had a house and you had food. It wasn't a big deal that, my friend was adopted. It's not a big deal. And all of those things affect us in a certain way.
Yes.
It's traumatizing to our little beings then when we're younger. Or even now. You guys are sensitive like me.
And those things create the illusion. Those things create more separation. They create blocks. those blocks start to disconnect you from that space. They disconnect you from that truth and that flow and that energy of connectedness. And that energy of connectedness brings you into abundance. And so that's why it is so important for us to work on these things as well, and so important to move these things so that we can feel that state of connectedness and we can understand ourselves and we can express ourselves, right? Because we're here to express ourselves. And Nicole brought up some things that are really important. And next Sunday, right, we're going to be talking about worthiness, right? That you are all worthy. But if you don't feel worthy and you don't feel like you can receive and you don't feel loved, then it also creates that disconnect, that separation. Right? So even just starting with understanding this idea of we are not inherently at the highest level separated. Those are ideas, and there are so many. There are so many, and they're so wide, and they're so broad, but you can start in this moment. You guys are already shifting that.
So right now, after you get off of this, I want you to go in the mirror in your bathroom or whatever mirror you have that you love, a good mirror that you can see yourself. And I don't care how you actually feel about yourself. I want you to look yourself in the eyes, and I want you to be like, I love you. I am sorry. Please forgive me and thank you, right? A Ho'oponopono prayer. It's so beautiful. And even if you could just say, I love you. I love you. I love you. You just deserve to be loved. I love you. And then if you're feeling really courageous, call your mom or your dad or your friend or someone that you haven't talked to in a while and be like, I love you. And then if you're feeling really, really courageous, go outside and grab a tree. Hug that tree. And I'm going to do all of this. I'm going to call my mom. And I'm going to go hug a tree and tell the tree I love you. If you have animals, tell your animals I love you. Just allow yourself to sit with that. Right? Because when you're doing that, there's going to be a whole lot of oxytocin produced in your body. That tree actually is going to take so much of your love and send so much love back to you. You're going to be so grounded with this universe, with this earth, and with yourself. All these little things we think are silly, they're not important. Right? When you drink a glass of water today, put all your love in that water and then take that water and receive the love that you put into the water.
Yes.
You're totally right now, right? A lot of you, like I could feel it. It's like, I'm not okay. I'm not okay. I promise you right now that you are so more than okay. That it's just a snap away from you seeing that you're really, truly okay. Sorry, I had to throw that out there. You're a blink of an eye away from seeing that you're okay. You have these veils on, right? We're constantly moving the veils, and then they come back down on our face, and it's like sideways, and I'm like seeing things halfway, and like all of a sudden, like I get, I'm just connected, everything's okay. I'm supposed to be here. Deep breath, right? So all of you, we go up and down. It's part of growth. It's part of life. Duality is beautiful, actually. We've taken this thing of duality, right? This dark, light, feminine, masculine, negative, positive, all these things, right? My life coach was like really bringing it in this weekend. I got to see him. I love him so much. He was like just sharing, and I was thinking about it. I was like, oh my God, just being in balance, allowing yourself, if you think that you're a little raunchy or you think that you got that little bad seed in you, it's okay. It's okay to be a little bad. Don't do anything too bad, but it's okay accepting yourself where you are. Because what happens when you accept yourself in your space, you get the movement. It starts this movement. When we don't accept ourselves, we're small. We're in this box. I tell people, make it a little messy. Allow people to see you. You know what? People will surprise you. You think that people won't accept you for who you are, and when you really show yourself and you get real authentic and connect with who you are, and you start just experiencing yourself and then putting that part of you out there, and then people start to actually receive you, and you give them permission to be a little quirky, like that's a gift. That's a blessing. That's awesome. That's miracles. Those are miracles.
Yes. I want to go back a little bit with you guys, and there's a lot of things that I was thinking, and Nicole's on a roll, and I love it. I'm so glad that you guys are feeling inspired this morning. And what I wanted to tell people is how to kind of pay attention to when they know that they're in an energy that's aligned versus an energy that's not, right? And so if the belief makes you feel separated, and if the belief makes that person outside, and if the belief creates, we talk about this a lot in relationships too, right? If you're looking at somebody and going, well, they're they're this and they're that and they're this kind of a loser and they did that and I'm mad at them and they're a jerk and they, can't do this. And we're creating all of these things instead of understanding that there's still an aspect and a facet of us, whether they are in, at an evolutionary point that you are, whether their consciousness is similar to yours or it's different from yours in that moment, but not separate in that way. So checking your belief systems. Do they align with love? Do they align with this idea of being one? Do they align with this idea of connection? Or do they align with energies that are making you feel distant and making you feel alone and making you feel paranoid and making you feel that you can judge and making you judge others? And so, I wanted you guys to think about that and allow yourselves, to watch your own thinking. When we talked about this and we talked about the title for this and we talked about how, it's original sin, the way that Nicole and I look at sin is very different from the word that's, used in religion or how you will speak about it colloquially. Right? So for me, the idea of sin, it's just lie. So illusion, right? And so the original breakdown, the original lie was this idea that we're separate from a state where the energy was all connected and understanding of that.
Yes.
And it grew and it grew and it grew. So where do you lie to yourself? Where do you feel the programming is illusion in your mind? What have you just taken for truth in your lives? How many things do we just say and repeat that we haven't even questioned within ourselves if it even makes sense? Right? Where is that? How has that breakdown manifested for you? And how can you start through your paying attention to break that down? What is not true for you anymore? Right? And so if you guys are ready to kind of start to release that, then in this moment you can agree to do that, right? And so you can hashtag release.
Release, baby,
right?
release.
Just start to bring clarity. And if you're watching this in the replay, hit replay. Let us know that you watched it, right? And as I said this before, if this is something that you feel that people need to hear, share this. Tag somebody in this. We're here to show up every week with you guys and to serve you and to be here in this space. And you're here, sharing our message as well and helping other people get there because we get there together because we're not separate. We don't get there alone. We get there together.
Yes, I love that.
So we love you guys
We love you so much. Your energy was on fire today.
Yes.
I loved it.
I can't wait to talk to you guys next week. We're going to be talking about a deep dive into worthiness and all of those things. And we have a lot of other exciting stuff coming. And we're going to talk a lot this week also coming up on different subjects like lack and those belief systems that spin from this and this belief and why we're there and why we're in that mentality. It's time to break these mentalities.
Yes.
It's important to break out of these mentalities so you can stand in the power of who you are.
Completely.
So that you can realize that you have all of that power and that you are creating your life and you can do that feeling not like a victim and you can do that feeling not angry at God or the world. You can do that being able to, we feel angry in our separation when we feel powerless.
Yes.
And when we allow ourselves to feel like we are a watcher of our life, a victim of our life, a passerby. When we feel that, we abdicate our power, we feel so much frustration and anger towards the world. And that is not really towards the world. It's that feeling of not knowing how to reconnect with that energy. And so we're going to talk about a lot of these different things this week in various videos and so on and so forth and throughout the following weeks. And so hopefully that will serve you guys. Pay attention. So if you're not actually following us, make sure to put the alerts on. Make sure you follow us. Put the little notification to make sure that we pop up first so that you guys can see what's coming up. This way, you know what's happening because we are really just here to serve. And we've got some very, very exciting announcements for you guys this month. So we'll stay connected.
Yes, so excited.
We love you guys
We love you guys so much.
Have a beautiful Sunday.
Bye.
Bye.